G'day everybody, Brad Williams here from Williams Occupational Therapy Driver Assessment and Rehab, and in the previous videos we've been highlighting what we learnt from the OT National Conference that was held in Sydney last month. So as promised, we are sharing what we learnt from the course over there in Sydney, and those things specific to driving, because that's what we do here at Williams OT. We assist clients with disabilities to be able to get back to driving. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend this talk, but they've had information shared with us from the talk, which is fantastic, and we're sharing what we learnt from somebody else, so second-hand information. So I hope that that is okay, but thankfully they took really good notes and were able to share it with us here. Now, the talk that I'm talking about today is that presented by Marilyn DeStefano of the Vic Roads Driver Trained OT. Anybody in Driver Trained OT world would know the name Marilyn DeStefano. She's had a big influence in assisting driver trained OTs to move forward at licensing standards. So she works with the TAC and Vic Roads in Victoria and she's been working on a standardized test route for on-road assessments specific for occupational therapists. So she's developed a toolkit which is fantastic, and the toolkit is actually available on the OT Australia membership website, which is fantastic news. So if you log into the OT Australia website, if you're a member, and you go up to the search bar up the top and you type in OT driver test, it'll take you straight to the information that we're talking about here. So I really encourage you to go and do that. OT Australia website, log in, so into your membership details, and then go to search, and then in the search bar type OT driver test, and it'll take you to what they're doing in Victoria. Now, what we're doing, I don't know if people know this or not, but we were got hold of the 2016-17 draft trial version, and I was employed by Flinders University to design test routes around South Australia, around Adelaide, around each of the hospitals to be able to implement research studies. So we did one around Hampstead, we did one around Modbury, and we did one around the Repat Hospital, and also Flinders as well. So I've got a real interest in this area, and we're really intrigued about the updates to the guidelines for an on-road assessment. So we are also looking at the toolkit on the OT Australia website and updating our protocols and designing our test route around Williams OT here at Richmond in Adelaide here, South Australia. But we're also taking the elements in the toolkit to be able to do open road assessments in people's local areas and identifying what things are available in their area to be able to show if they're at full licensing standards to be able to drive on an unconditional license. So that's what it's all about. But the toolkit goes into the summary of requirements for an open area test route. It also has got templates for open area test routes and a checklist. I'm reading it off a screen here behind the video camera. Open area test route compliance tool, local area license test checklist. It's also got standard instructions for use for most driving tasks, which is really important when you're working with your driving instructor. And it's also got an information sheet for driver trained OTs for the driving instructors, how to work with driving instructors. It's got a communication form between OTs and the driving instructor, and it's also got self-directed learning materials to be able to do as well. So all of those things are available on the OT Australia website, and we really thank Marilyn DeStefano for sharing all of that. Of course, the test routes that they've designed around Victoria are not going to be applicable for here in South Australia, but we will be looking at redesigning our test routes specifically around Richmond, but potentially looking at redesigning the test routes around the hospitals, major hospitals here in Adelaide, for the driver trained OTs to be able to use standardized test routes for all of their assessments. That's it for now. Any more information, I encourage you to have a look at the website, the OT Australia website, and get in contact with Marilyn DeStefano if you want to find out more information. That's it for now. See ya.